actually start out by telling you a little bit about my background. I actually started off studying accountancy, and I was the one in the class who finished in the part of the class that made the top 80% possible. So I wasn't exactly a superstar at accountancy. However, I did pass, and when I passed I thought about it and decided that I didn't have the personality to be an accountant. But I learned a couple of things from being an accountant. One is that all the accountants I knew back then were marvellously perceptive at predicting the past. Now I know that that wouldn't apply to anyone in this room, but it was how accountants were back in those days. I also learned that there were only three things that you could do that could change your profit. And the first one was that you could cut your expenses. The second is that you could increase your margins. And the third one is that you could increase your sales. And with everything that I've done since then, I've learned to follow those three things, and I'm going to talk about why that is. So anyway, I left school, did accountancy, and I was looking for a job. So there was a place in Melbourne called Myers. You've probably heard of it, it's been in the news lately. And I applied to be an executive trainee at Myers, and they gave me a job in the ladies' shoe department, which was really interesting because I learnt a very important lesson. I learnt that ladies do not buy shoes to fit their feet. They buy them to fit the occasion. And that's something also that has proved to be very valuable. Now, if you don't think that's right, for the guys in the room, just ask the ladies, when you go to buy shoes, do you care first about the look or first about the fit? And invariably, they buy them because they like the way they look. Which means that they buy them for emotional reasons, not for logical reasons. Anyway, I left Myers and I decided that the world was opening up. There was something new happening. We're in 1970, and I'd spent these years in Myers learning how to sell, and there was a new horizon called computers. So I went out with a couple of guys and we set up a computer service bureau. What that meant was that we rented a space, or we rented time first of all, on a thing called an IBM 360. Now, an IBM 360 was a computer that was about the size, roughly half this room, had less power than your watch, and it was this giant of a machine, but it was the forerunner of computers. We computerised a number of businesses. One of them was a group called the Melbourne Diagnostic Group, now called Melbourne Pathology. And we computerised their accounts. And I noticed, from my vast accounting training, I noticed that they were billing more than they were banking, which was really interesting. And I drew that to the attention of the partners, and the office manager, whose name was Miss Early, got 6 years in jail. And I got a lot of good publicity. So here we are, nearly 2 years later, and we've just sold the business to a public company. And for the first time I had some money. So off I went around Australia. I couldn't go back into the computer business. Loved computers, but I couldn't go back into that business because I signed a non-compete. So 5 months later I'm leaving Perth, and it took me that long to drive around Australia, right round the top. Leaving Perth and I'm driving back to Melbourne, which is where I'd been. And on the way I found this quaint little village called Adelaide. And I spent the next 39 years in Adelaide. I applied for this job. There's a job advertised in the paper. It said life insurance, no experience necessary. So I qualified. And I got this job selling life insurance. Now, I didn't realise then that if you could fog a mirror, you could get a job selling life insurance. So it gives you a little bit about the background. I ended up some years later. I still love computers, still am interested in making a profit. I ended up running Zurich for a number of years, and I now chair Synquon, which is this dealer group that Bernie's involved in. So that just gives you a little bit of background. I want to focus on technology tonight and how it's changing what we do. And I want to start off, I'll show you a couple of videos. And the first one is a video that we need to pay attention to because it demonstrates what's happening right now.
You've heard the word disruption, you know what that is. And you've heard the word digital, you know what that is too. But put them together, digital disruption, and they add up to much more than the mere sum of their parts. Digital disruption, when properly understood, should terrify you. There are three sources of digital power. One, free digital tools that can rapidly build new products and services. Two, digital platforms which can be exploited by competitors. And three, a burgeoning class of digital consumers. These three sources are unleashing a disruptive force that will completely alter every business on the planet. Consider the case of Weight Watchers. They were disrupted after spending decades and hundreds of millions of dollars creating their customer base. But in just 4 years, a tiny 8-person digitally disruptive company sucked 13 million customers from their market with an app called Lose It. What makes digital disruption so much better, stronger, and faster than old disruption? Under old disruption, very few people had access to the capital necessary to develop new ideas, so very few ideas were brought to the market. That all changed with digital disruption, where many people have access to digital tools that allow them to bring many more ideas to market at a fraction of the cost. Consider the math. Even if there's only 10 times the innovators, and one look at Kickstarter will tell you it's much more than that. And even if we assume that they're only operating at 1/10 the cost, and you multiply those two conservative estimates together, we're talking 100 times the idea power with digital disruption. So, how do you protect yourself from digital disruptors? You copy their behaviors and mindset. Digital disruptors are intensely customer-focused. You're probably thinking, we're already customer-focused, but in truth, most companies just offer customers low-cost and incremental product improvements. But with free or nearly free digital platforms and tools, you can offer your customers much more value at a very low cost. So stop using your old processes and expensive analog tools and start obsessing over the question, how can we serve our customers better, faster, and cheaper? In the old world, we'd ask ourselves, what does my customer want? Then we'd create the product and quickly build a brick wall around the customer by making the cost of switching to another provider extremely high. Under digital disruption, we actually tear down that wall because our job is to align with the customer. We do this by helping them look for things outside of the current product experience that they might be interested in. As you look through your customer's eyes, you can determine which of these adjacent offerings you have the resources and skills to act on. Through this new vantage point, you'll generate more ideas more quickly. Don't build a future. Build the next thing people really need, and that future will find you. Another disruptive behavior involves creating digital enhancements to amplify the total product experience. Here's how UPS did it. They started an online program called My Choice that gives customers added flexibility by allowing them to do things like scheduling delivery and rerouting packages. And since people have to sign up for the program, UPS created a digital bridge allowing them to communicate with 3 million customers who opted in. With this bridge, UPS can test and deliver new offerings to improve the total product experience. What else can you do to become a digital disruptor? You can remake your company's culture by embracing the digital disruptor's mindset and driving home this message. This is how we operate now. We identify customer needs. We rapidly test and deploy solutions. We measure them, and then we do it over again. Digital disruptors are so successful today because they build better customer experiences faster and cheaper. Embrace their mindset and disrupt the disruptors.
So I was talking